And what your mama said? Didn't I tell you don't get up there high? Here, go wash it off. Go back to sleep.
Lucky wash it off. I get clunk on my head.
All right, you
go
all right.
back outside and play. Go ahead, go run it off.
All right, now come back outside.
Go back out the way.
Red light, green light. How about the children that didn't have the uniform or came to school with something that was with dirty clothes, and you would see somebody be like, all right, let's go down to Cookies, get the kids clothes. You don't see stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
It was truly a village. Even the PTA presidents down the line through the years, they were instrumental and very active with the kids. It was like an entire community
village. It was
the whole village.
Definitely a village. It definitely was. And if you didn't have it, down to stockings. Okay, we have them. Or, you know, in the PTA room, it was everything in there. What we got? Let's look in this bin.
Right.
What we got up in this bin, honey, don't worry. And it wasn't a big deal. You just kind of got off the line. You know, you may not look. They had a washcloth for you. You didn't get it this morning, did you? And it was nothing. They just
right. It was right. Had some tussy.
Send you right on back to school. No, you know you didn't come out like this. Where were you this morning? You know, you came out looking. Oh, come here.
Yeah.
Let me look you up. But that's the self-esteem. You know, now I can learn. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you didn't have something. Let me see what I have in it. This little cracker right quick. You're gonna have something to eat. Yeah. For you, that's a big part of the beginning of the day. A breakfast is something some of these children don't even have. You know, and how you want the children to function on, you know, just fumes. You didn't even eat, so it's
right. I didn't realize that breakfasting was a problem until my kids were in school, and like, you know, on the news, a lot of kids don't get breakfast at home. I mean, I was fortunate. Every morning, my mother made breakfast and left breakfast for me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, are you serious? But a lot of kids, like, I'll see my son here. He still goes to school, go eat breakfast. I'm like, okay. Listen, whatever works for you. You know, don't make it seem like we don't give you breakfast here.
I need something.
You make it seem like we don't give you breakfast.
And the teachers lived in the community too. So it wasn't just like, okay, you know what? They weren't from Staten Island. They weren't from Long Island. They weren't coming in here. You know, let me get this job done and then go back to where I really want to be.
Down Flatbush or Church Avenue. Hey, how you doing?
You can't go right. You down Flatbush. You down Nostrand. You down Church Avenue. You can't act cool.
Lock the locks.
You want to be a teacher.
Listen, after a couple of years, I moved to their block. A couple of years later.
Yeah, is that you, Kim? Hey, Miss Payne. No, that wasn't me. But they lived in the community, so you know there were certain things you couldn't do.
Yeah.
Right.
But because they cared. Their neighborhood was our neighborhood. Like, you don't see that nowadays. People come from Staten Island, Long Island, Jersey.
And I think that has an impact on all the communities when it comes to schools, when it comes to policing, you know, everything. If you don't know the community or you're not from a community like the community that you're working in,
right.
9 times out of 10, you're scared as hell. Because you just like, wait a minute. I don't know these people. This looks kind of sketchy. You know, let me hurry up and leave, you know, when it's 3 o'clock.
Time out to get to know the neighborhood.
You know?
It's
true.
It's
true. Time to know the neighborhood, know what's going on.
To know the neighborhood that you're working in. But one thing that I can say is that we would, after breakfast, of course, we would line up in the auditorium. And the thing about it is the school that we were in, it wasn't big. It wasn't huge. We didn't have seats in the auditorium. The auditorium was the gym. It was the performing
auditorium.
Some of the lunchrooms.
You know, it was the music room. You know,
it was everything.
The choir room.
The lunchroom. You push it back. Everything
it was all in one. But we would all stand in our prospective classes, and we will all say together, I am somebody.
I am somebody.
Yeah.
I can and
I will
achieve. I can and I will learn. And then before, I don't know if we did it before or after, but we knew the Black National Anthem.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we did. Lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice.
We did that. Yeah, we did before. That's what we started with. Yes, pledge allegiance and lift every voice. Pledge allegiance and lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing.
Yeah. And then Miss Robinson and her message, and then the greatest love of all. That was the order.
Yes.
I still hear it now. We like this. We were just so proud. You couldn't tell us nothing. It was like a little show before you went to class.
Yes. You know, Miss Thompson, we would start singing. Cause you could be anywhere, and then they start singing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," and people are "Set up, stage that." I don't know the words. I'm just like, how y'all don't know the words?
You don't know the words.
National anthem.
Hurts my heart every time.
Right?
Heart. I just sit there. I'm like, what did you just say? It hurts. It's but again, that's instilling, and it's being taught. You can't blame children that are not taught it. So I keep telling a lot of our children, you're not dumb. You just didn't learn it.
Just didn't learn it.
That's true.
That's a word.
So now it's never a time you should not learn. You're gonna learn it. Okay, time maybe to teach. They weren't, the people who were teaching you at that time didn't think it was important, but now it's very important for you to know simple things and know the words. I say that all the time. You better learn these words. That is not what it says. It's not
it ain't coming, bro.
Facing the rock.
Yes.
Because we had to know the words.
We had that.
Know the words.
We sang it every day.
To 5th grade. Every day.
We knew who Bill Withers was.
Every day.
Nina Simone.
Like
Shamika said, Grover Washington.
Just little things.
What, Tana Gardner? Olatunji?
Olatunji, yes.
Come on.
Like, we definitely was Black. We were definitely... I didn't know the difference until I went to junior high, and I was like, was like, this is different.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay.
Well, I had Miss Mormon in junior high, so she would walk around with her baby on her back. So I was like, yes.
When my kids go to school, I'm like, no morning assembly. Y'all don't do that no more. They're like, what's that? No, we get together when there's an assembly of a show, a performance going on. I'm like, I do that every morning at my thing. Every morning you have to line up, go to the process before going to class. Now, drop them off straight to class. Like, wow. That's how you get your day started? That's how you get your day started.
It's my birthday today, or, everybody had a chance to be special. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It's so-and-so's birthday today. Everybody say happy birthday. And it's those little things that make differences in kids' lives. And I
still do that in my classroom, though.
You still do that?
I do that. I do that with the kids. I embarrass them. I put on 50 Cent and go, it's your birthday.
Good.
And they be sitting there embarrassed, but they like it. They know deep down they like it.
Absolutely.
Cupcakes, donuts. I do that. I bring it for the kids. And because I give them a little, I gotta give them some of $3.99. They can't get it all. They too, that we they grown, but I give them a little something. They love it. They act like they don't, and they come back to me later. You remember my birthday? I said, of course. But it means something to them. They may not get happy birthday at home.
Right.
They may not get a little piece of cake, a little cupcake, a little, we have some dinner sometimes. So
True.
I mean, you gotta make them feel special. Everybody needs to feel special. So that's what I try to do with my kids. So even though they grown, I try to do it, and they appreciate it later. They may cuss you out 1 minute, and they love you the next. So,
oh, look at you.
They're complicated. They're complicated,
but you making them, you giving them a little piece,
right? This pandemic has hit them hard.
Pass it down. Pass it on.
Seeing us.
Pass it on.
And being online and being in homes where maybe it's too, like, at least they got a break when they came to school, but now they're home where it's constantly whatever is going on there. So we have lost a lot, but hopefully praying that when it opens back up, that we get back those kids, because they are just like checked out, or parents are sick, you know, they're working. A lot of things is happening where we're not getting the kids really, you know, in class. They're not doing anything. But we just pray that they are safe and that when it comes back, that they kind of like try to jump back into learning again, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because it's very different now. Obviously, it's different now because of the time that we are in, and just things have changed. Like, we had the best of both worlds. I think, Shanah, you were the one that told me that we knew what it was to play outside and not have a cell phone. And we also were there when the cell phone was invented, and people had car phones and they was trying to, you know, be Big Willie. And, you know, we were there for the invention of MySpace. And then now with TikTok, you know what I'm saying? So we knew we were actually there when there was an Albee Square Mall, you know?
Exactly.
You know,
and
we also know that now downtown Brooklyn, you can't even buy ice cream cone that because everything's so expensive. You know, you want to get an apartment downtown.
Get it?
Downtown Brooklyn? Like, I don't know about that.
I mean, I'm appreciative that our downtown is starting to look like a downtown now. So I've been to other states. You see the downtown, like, wow. Now I'm like, Brooklyn is just catching on. I'm like, it's about time we start looking like a downtown. Because remember how it was back then, like downtown.
It did, yeah.
I mean, but that's what groomed us. You know, we could say, you know, that era that we grew up in groomed us, because I can tell you that we are totally different children than they were before. Like, what my students may be like, oh, she made me. We were like, you know, you gonna get it back. You gonna what you did what? So it's a totally different grooming process that is there now. I really think that because of the times, our children now are a little more babied or a little more sheltered. We were given that, you know, that leeway, that rope. You know, we were able to explore.
Right.
You know, we went on a trip. We did, you know, other things. They go on trips now, but it's very different. But we, you know, our groundation, or we were taught a lot different, I would say, you know, just little things, because I still teach them I before E except after C. And they're like, what's Valentine? So those little things that we learn, that's, I guess, I have to tell it to, you know, yeah, I got to spell receive, I before E. So they're like, what are you doing? So those little things that we, you know, learned how to do, you know, 30 days have September, April, June, and November. They don't know those little things for them to understand. You know, just grammar itself is really being pushed to the side. So
yes, definitely.
You know, I always say technology is great, but it's not how we get a seat at the table. You don't see bosses in front of the computers.
Right.
You see bosses at the round table. So you got to be able to speak. You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to have dialogue. It's great to know the technology, but that's not where the people who are bosses are. So you have to see the difference in your teaching. And because it's instilled in us from where we got it from, you stick it in there. You know, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to, you know, bring a little bit of my childhood into what's going on now. Because when they tell them, you know, I tell them about my childhood, they think it's just, Miss Valentine, you are so old. What do you mean?
You know, like prehistoric.
What do you mean the television went off at 11 o'clock when you were young? I was like, yeah, the television went off at 11 o'clock and I saw the American flag blow across the screen. That's why y'all need to turn the TV off. Little things
that we actually had to manually turn it off.
Hello. Exactly. Going up to the TV and pressing the button. It's a different
no remote. I was my father's remote control.
The only time you had a TV to yourself was that early Saturday morning to watch cartoons before everyone got up. After that, forget it. You want to watch what?
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. Not during the week. Go read a book or definitely go outside and play, which they don't.
Go outside and play.
Those little games that we learned, they don't know any of them. Like, I literally taught kids games that we used to play just to, you know, I'm like, what's wrong with you all? In my head, I'm like, oh, never mind. I just realized what I'm doing from I'm competing with Facebook. I'm competing with this. Right. I'm not competing with the hands-on. So that's where the hands-on. And when you take the hands-on out of schools, those technology schools that kids need, because not every child is going to college. I keep telling children, not all of our children are going to go to college. We need those technical schools. We need those things back in school, you know, to teach them how to do those technologies, those technical, not technology, but those aspects of things that people are not doing.
And stuff like
I'll
that.
be a plumber. You know, we just speaking about that at work. You know, it's good for the kids to learn a trade because
it's not as much
right now. So
we don't have as many vocational schools now as we did before. Transit Tech is still
like in high school they used to
Transit Tech is still doing it, but it's not as like it was before.
And typing. Like I remember, like I had to have a typing class in high school. I never forget that.
In high school, I had to do it in junior high school, and I dare you to look down at that keyboard. You look down at that. I dare you.
You know what?
My keyboard is at work now. They say you type fast. I said yes. I took a course in high school.
Right.
Said, wow.
Like you had to.
Where y'all been? y'all much older than me. Where have y'all been?
Yeah. These are little
things. They didn't go to school.
Or cooking classes. We had cooking classes in junior high. That was fun.
I didn't take cooking class. You know, my mother cooked, so I was good. My mother cooked, so she helped teach me along the way.
Well, men are the best cooks. I have a lot.
And my wife also too. Wife came in and gave me as well. So I was like, yeah.
Well, my husband.
I'm looking back. I have a few friends who are gourmet chefs. So I'm looking like maybe I should have taken a cooking class in high school. Personal chef going on here. So.
Well, I have a secret, and I don't think I've ever told anybody.
Uh-oh.
We know you can't cook.
Oh, I can cook. Play yourself. Thank you. Anyway, I had a come to Jesus moment, and I realized because I didn't do good in high school at all, except for in music and dance. I straight A's. Every other subject, I didn't do good at all. But I realized it wasn't until this year that I realized that I did not do well in high school because I did not have Black teachers. All of the schools that I had Black teachers, and the subjects in high school where I had Black teachers, I excelled. But I did not in high school. And it wasn't until this year that I realized, I was just like, why did I have to go through all of that to graduate? Because it was learning wasn't, I felt like I was a number and not like I was, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm what you're saying, right?
Absolutely.
And it affected me as I was, you know, becoming a woman, because I'm just like, this is not how it was. This is not like Miss Robinson do it. It's not like Miss Reed do it. So it was hard for me to adjust, and I would struggle as to why. I know I'm not dumb, you know. English was my thing. Math, but English. But I didn't want it.
When I first started teaching, I started teaching in Jefferson High School, in East New York, Pennsylvania Avenue.
I know exactly. That's where Mommy went.
I know it is.
Right.
Right the block.
That's where my aunt went. My aunt Karen
Right
and Darren. That's where they went. And you know, it was the worst school ever in the world. You know, they were shooting in the school.
One of
teachers died in the school, like a whole bunch of stuff.
Really?
And yes. And we so they were talking about it because I was in one, it's broken down into 4 schools, and I was in one of the schools in there. And a person who used to teach in Jeff, she was doing a PD and she was talking. And there was a correlation between, now the population of the students were 90% African-American and Hispanic. And the demographic of the teachers who taught there were 80% Caucasian. So, but nobody got it. I was like, I get it. from Staten Island and from Long Island, the teachers bust in because they didn't really want to be there. Because they wanted a job in teaching, but they wanted to be in Staten Island or Long Island. And for whatever reason, they didn't get that position. So it's like, all right, I'll come here and I'll teach these Black children and Hispanic children. I'll teach them. But I don't want to be here and I'm scared, right? They scared of the kids. And I'm not saying it was not a rough neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it wasn't. But there's a difference when kids know you genuinely care about them, right, and want to see them succeed, and when you are there for a check. So while they were shooting, why was the worst school? That could have been a reason. It could have been, oh, the parents didn't do this, the parents didn't do that. But you're not going to tell me that there weren't trying kids in 399. You're not going to tell me that there weren't kids that needed beatings too. You're not going to tell me that there weren't kids who didn't listen to their parents or who didn't have any parents. Right. The kids struggled there too. True. But because the difference is we had teachers who looked like us and really cared. Now, if they cared and they didn't look like us, we might have got, you can still do something with that. But if you genuinely know that this teacher is looking at you and they don't even know your name or know how to pronounce it, and every time you say one word, they're kicking you out of the classroom, then you know that this is not the place for you and you don't want to be there. So what would you do? You act your worst.
That's true.
Right. Message. You're right.
And all the teachers sitting there just looking like trying to figure out. I'm like, look at that information. Like it just went over people's head. Like they didn't understand it. And still in my school, we had teachers who I knew did not want to be there, did not like our kids, made comments about them all the time. And then you wonder why you sit in the classroom and they curse you out. Yet when you come to my classroom, you don't see the same behavior. Check yourself. You know you don't want to be there. You know you don't care about them kids, and they know it. Right. Oh yeah. You can't teach kids. If you can't get to them and you don't like them and you can't relate to them, they know it and they don't want to hear nothing that comes out your mouth. Right. You can't get to them. You can
how can we take this message on the road? Because I need every state and city and town, because it's imperative for our children. The great thing about these kids is that they experienced the Black president.
Right.
Yes. Yes, they have.
That's the daddy.
The closest we got was Marty Markowitz. You know what I mean?
Yep. Good old Marty Markowitz.
We got Dinkins.
Showed up at every graduation.
We had Dinkins.
We got Dinkins.
And Una Clark.
Una Clark. So it's right there.
But we never thought
there'll be a Black president.
Did y'all think back then?
No.
Even though
I thought Jesse Jackson was the closest. I thought Jesse Jackson was the closest when he was running. That was it.
Jesse Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson. Yeah. I never thought I would see Auntie Shelly, as my first lady, But these kids actually have that in their pocket. Right. And it still ain't.
Right.
So what is it? How can we bring back family or village, if you will? How can we bring back village? I can't eggs.
Well, I mean, I think you gotta stop trying to. First is you have to stop trying to run competition with each other. That's the first thing. We compete against ourselves too much. We always look and see what the other person has. What do they have? I want to get this. I want mine to be better than theirs. We need to stop that. Stop thinking everyone is out to get you. It's gonna take work. It's gonna take work. We have to start small, and I guess we have to like each other first too. We have to like each other. Like I see you over there, yeah, I do this, and then go around talk. We have to like each other. What do we have in common? How can we make this better? Instead of, I see what you got going on there, I'm gonna go turn around and try and start my own thing and get your customers make more money than you. Let's try and grow this thing. Let's try and see, okay, you got that spot there. I like what you do. all right, do you have an area in this section? So what if we work together, we can get area in this section. That means you're making money here, I'm getting the people on this side. We're still working together now. All right, let's try getting a little something going on over there. Let's see how can we try and get everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts with we have to like each other first.
Agree.
Starts with intent. Before you can like each other, you got to like yourselves. So you start with the intent.
Yes.
True.
Here in being that genuine person, because people can tell a person can tell a phony. I mean, if you were really grounded and this is not a real true person, then you can tell a phony or a person who is for the people. Like children can tell if you're for them. So if you're for the people, that's where the intent starts. And it doesn't have to start large. So it can start right in your immediate area. So if you have your block and you have a communal discussion about what's going on, or you start in that capacity, or your next door neighbor, you and your next door neighbor have a conversation, and then each one teaches one. That's where it starts, because that's how the word then gets out. But it starts with a plan. It has to be a plan of what it is we want to see. And then not only a plan, the plan has to be followed out or go, fruition is very important. So you can have all, the documentation you want, but now what are you going to do to put this forth? And not be afraid to fail. That's a big situation too. A lot of us are very, face. How does it look on the outside? What are people going to think? Okay, but failure is just something that makes you it's a learning process. So we get back up and we start all over again. So the intent has to be there. And a lot of people may think they have the intent, but then something sways them. So we have to keep that, that intent. And not only that, people have to learn how to follow. So if you're gonna have that intention, you're going to have that person who, not a big head person. And I'm not talking about you just following the person, right? We as African-American people, we always got to put our 2 cents in. So if we have that vibration where, okay, we're going to go in this direction, can it sway? Yes, it can always, it goes off into its own tangent. You have different branches, but then how are we going to who's going to take the lead? Who's going to step behind? And then who's going to take that lead? The person who's in the lead should be teaching the next person how to lead. It's not about you being in the leader all the time.
Right.
Because things change. So now we are also grooming up children, grooming up those individuals. Now it's not your time to lead. You got to teach the next person how to lead now.
How to do it.
So, that's the intent.
But do you think that the change in the idea of now everyone is the winner, like everyone now has a trophy, and now everyone now gets a certificate, is it
everybody ain't a winner? Somebody lost. Somebody needs to work harder, train harder, and then come back the next time.
But I'm just, so I say all that to say, did that change in this now? Everybody's a winner. Did that idea
why that everybody's a winner? All of them people was on January 6th at Capitol Hill because everybody they grew up thinking that they was all winners. Everybody is not a winner. Some people lose. It's the person that gets to the finish line first. It's the person that finished the test first. It's the person that has the best performance. Everybody does not win. You got a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
A bronze. Mm-hmm.
Everybody else honorable mention. Sometimes they don't even mention you. We don't even know if you was there. Everybody is not a winner.
It's true though. Very true.
They try to make
everybody's mediocre, and they want everybody. You're mediocre. But you think you all the way up there. That's the problem. You're not trying to work no harder than what you have to do.
But that's why
our country is last in everything. I don't know what, especially education.
We
I
are
don't know
last.
why we try to act like we're the best at everything.
Well, this pandemic showed it. This pandemic displayed that we are far behind than what everybody thought. Very.
And we have the most money.
Exactly. You know, you're just giving out iPads and computers now in a pandemic. Other states, when the kid into school, they have the computers that go them all through until they graduate high school. Why are we just coming to the table with that?
I still have kids. This thing started last year, March. Okay, I still have kids.
Still don't have a device.
Don't have devices.
Still don't have a device. Ridiculous.
Well, you teach priority. What are priorities? What is important? And it's not only the educational system, because parents lost their priority way too. I mean, this PS5 came out and everybody got the PS5 but you didn't have no laptop in March, but you got a PS5 now.
So wait a minute, they ain't had no internet neither. They ain't had nothing was working. They ain't had no Wi-Fi. But they got a PS5. Yes, you ain't pay that cable bill. You ain't pay the internet bill. The babies, the internet slow. We pausing. They can't get out the work done. It's a shame. But they got the PS5.
Well, you know,
they got to get our priorities together, people.
Priorities are very important. Priorities. What are your priorities? And, you know, listen, they can pull the wool over it, or if you want to be the old Caribbean monkey know what tree to climb, they can do all of those situations. But, you know, you emailing me talking about your internet not working, but how you emailing me? Because I don't see from my iPhone. So I'm just wondering how because I catch it. You emailing me. Listen, if I was a child in this particular situation, I'm not gonna lie. I'll try everything under the book. I would, because we're all children. You got to be honest with yourself. So sometimes you just gotta lie. I mean, laugh. You just have to laugh at them, but let them know. I know your game. You know, you didn't just come in and do this. You're not the first person who did it. Just be honest with Valentine, okay? Because I can tell. You have that new internet that you can email me, but you can't get online. That's okay, I understand. But, you know, just be honest. Where are your priorities? And that's something that's not taught. Priority, what is a priority?
Your phone as a hotspot?
Yeah, listen.
No.
But like you said, it's not even kids. Some adults don't even have their priorities straight. And you have to look at them like, are you serious? What's going on? Get it together.
I mean, you know, that's what 399 had also. You know, the parents were on the same page. The teachers were on the same page. We were on the same page, understanding that the output, the child is the most important. Right. So it was a different time period then too, because, you know, parents are younger now. A lot of homes don't have the grandparents, and the grandparents that they do have, they're tired. Unfortunately,
grandma is 32.
They're ready to live their life now.
Grandma 32 years old.
Oh yeah. Well, that's another story. That's a whole nother show. Grandma is she's not staying home. I
got some place to be.
I got things to life.
I got some place to be.
Mm-hmm. The priority is extremely, it's gone left,
So obviously I agree wholeheartedly with everything that we've been talking about, but I really believe that because of what we experience, it has shaped our entire lives up until this day.
Right.
And it does make me sad when I think about where we come from and where it is now. The neighborhood is totally different. It's just different. It doesn't have that feeling of community anymore. And the school definitely doesn't have it. School has turned from.
Okay, just let it go.
I don't want to say nothing.
I just let it go.
I mean, it's sad. I'ma just say.
I haven't been back here. So how's the school?
Huh?
How's the school? How's the school?
You wouldn't say your kids there. I'll just say that.
I wouldn't? Really?
You would not.
Okay.
Like you said, everybody is out for self.
Gotcha.
Like you said. So it's not a cohesive, it's definitely not the Mabel, Maryland and the whole village. Now you got Lola Falana as the headliner.
I knew it was coming. And I knew she could resist.
I'm just saying.
She could resist.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I want to contact the chancellor, the superintendent, and be like, "What were you thinking?" It's not there no more. It's not there. That's what I'm saying. It's not there no more. But even though it's not there, that doesn't mean that we can't do our part.
True.
In our communities to make sure that the kids growing up get to experience village.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
True. Definitely.
I mean, Kim, Shemika, y'all done followed in the footsteps of educators. You know,
right.
Your mom was an educator. I said no. But I would come up and be a guest teacher and do the performing arts, but I be to hurt somebody kid, because them kids, mommy would be teaching and she talking so and so, or the other teachers are talking, and I see the kids acting like they're not even there, like the adults are not even in the room, and I can't. My mouth is too big. I'm just like, and I would say it out loud and not even. I'm like, yo, you don't hear her talking to like. It would be like, but then they would love me at the end. At the end of the day, the kids would love me.
They would. That's why we need strong teachers who will yoke a kid. You know, don't yoke them up literally. You know,
yoke them in the spirit. You gotta yoke them in the spirit.
In the spirit, you have to do it. In the spirit. In the spirit, don't do it really. Don't really do it, because then you're gonna go to jail. But we definitely need. But we definitely need partnerships with different companies, different people, different, like even his fraternity. I would love to have them come to our school and talk to our men, talk to our kids.
Omega Sci-Fi, let's go.
Yes, because let me tell you, the kids went on a college trip, right? And
Black Car Store.
Right, and it was like they were so amazed that they saw kids that looked like them in college doing like they could do it, and then our kids was like, "Oh, we can do it.
No.
You know, we can really do it," and they got a motivation from that. And I think that if we had more people coming into our schools and telling the kids that this is what it is, you can do it. I came from here. My parent was this. My parent was that. You know, so they could know that they too can still
it's possible.
Do it. Right. It's
possible. I think your age group, Kim, is there's a need.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. My principal would be all for it. She would have no problem. Listen, we have had assembly all day, like with people coming in talking to our kids. We had career day. We had we need more of those things, because you know, not everybody, like she said, not everybody is made for college. That's just not what it is. Yeah. Like we had career day, we had chefs, we had electricians, we had we had plumbers, because like plumbers make this much bread, like really?
That's the thing, they don't know.
They don't know.
I'm like, they but just think about it. It's something you always need. It's always a force and leak.
Even your civil service title. Yeah. After you there 5 years, you put your time in, you are making a lot of money. A lot of them don't realize it.
You are one of those people.
I'm one of those civil service titles.
But our kids don't know anything like they don't know about the civil service exams. We were talking about that, a couple of teachers, and I was saying we need to tell them what they need to be required to take these exams, because everybody is just not college material. They just don't want to go. They are tired of school, or whatever happened to them in their experience, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Thus far, there's no NYPD. NYPD requires some college.
Yeah, we have a partnership with NYPD. They need some credits. We have a partnership.
Right, they need credit, but there's other titles.
But I feel like we need more other things.
The thing is, people need to try. Just take the test, apply for it, keep going on. They'll call you in a couple of years. Thing is, what you don't want them to change that high school diploma is no longer a requirement. So that's the thing. Change GED, high school diploma. When that changes, then that's when the problem starts.
So
I can tell a lot of young people
becoming a rule.
I haven't heard nothing that, but I believe it's going to change eventually because a lot of us are applying now. And usually things get changed when there's too much of us there.
Too many of us. All right, it's a limit.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like I said, it doesn't hurt to put take a test here, take a test there, see what happens in a couple of years.
Because we definitely need more of us as teachers and as civil servants, as police officers. Hello.
Yes.
In our own neighborhood.
Teach the kids
in our own neighborhood. That's right.
To work for themselves. If they are good at a trade, teach them that entrepreneurship is not
right.
That's right.
And listen,
they can own their own business.
Own their own. Exactly. You don't like to work for somebody. I tell them this. They're like, don't knock a sanitation worker. Or don't knock the person that's sitting down behind that token booth. They're about to move us that they are going to be those stick workers. You should not. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
As long as they don't go for that certificate of completion. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go for a certificate of completion. You're better off getting a GED. You can't get anything with a certificate of completion. So those alternative
difference.
The GED, it is actually known as you have passed through the requirement. Certificate of completion is, they claim it's because the child cannot get through and they opt out of school through your certificate of completion. So certificate of completion, you can't even join the forces, the armed forces with that if you take. Do not
like they age out.
Yeah, yes. So I don't care what you do. Take the GED.
It's a lot of our special needs kids who get that they can't pass the region, or they can't pass the region. So we have kids who are alternately assessed who are not capable. They're not capable of taking the region, so they will get a certificate of completion. And those are instances where their IQ is a certain level, which I understand that they really can't do it, so they'll get a certificate of completion. But what we don't need is the kids that we know have the ability that can do it to get that just because they age out. Right. And this is what I'm trying to tell the kids, that this is an opportunity. It's a pandemic and it was the worst. But yes, if you pass our classes, you will get a waiver for the regions. That regions that you've been working on for 3 years that you couldn't pass. If you pass our class, you will pass that regions is done for you. We're trying to get our kids to understand that. Like, you will be out of this school. Right. You will be going on to your future to figure out what you want to do. And they haven't even been listened in to just even get that piece that, do you understand that the Regents is waived? So the hardness that you had to try to take it is gone. If you pass this class, if you do the requirements for my class, you pass the English Regents. If you do social studies, same thing. So we are just trying to let them know that this is an opportunity that you need. It's and they are not even signing in for that. So
I concur.
It's sad.
There's so much opportunities out there. We just gotta take advantage of it,
And it's our kids. It's not
you want to join the services, so you can, as you get through, move up in rank. You're tired. You got that VA loan. You want to buy a home. I guess I spoken to so many people. I didn't just join the army, go this, that. I did that to get the VA loan. So when it's time to buy a house, I got this, I got that. I'm like, never thought of it that way. Maybe, like I said, maybe do a civil service job. Do that to fund their own personal business.
Because people really don't know.
I need benefits.
People really don't know what's available to them. you know, or they think that it's beyond something that they could attain. You know what I'm saying? So I say to those people, you know, there are people that have iPhones that don't realize that they have the world at their fingertips, or that have smartphones that don't realize they have the world at their fingertips. They can get any information by typing it in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's information out there that you can attain, but you just got to go look for it.
Exactly.
It's not going to come slap you in the face and say, here, come on and get this loan.
And it's so much easier now. I think
go to the library. You have to go to the library.
You had to go to the library and you had to read a newspaper. Like you had to go buy the newspaper and cut out the articles.
Yes.
And current events.
Current events. Yes.
They don't even do that now.
Yeah, but that's skills. Those skills are lost. Even though we had to do it, those particular, that's eye-hand coordination. You know, going to the library and looking in the card catalog. The kids don't even know how to look through a dictionary unless it's typing it in on a computer. So if you gave them, like I had made a purpose of putting real dictionaries, because that's how you train the eye. Right. The endurance for reading is so low because they don't have those skills that we used to have to do those little things. So going through a card catalog, that's, you know, to find something, that's a skill. Now you press a button. There's no skill in pressing a button. So now you know, your mind is not thinking that you have to work, you know, for it. You have to work for anything. All you need, you know, is at your fingertips, right? So those skills are lost. You know, that's the lost skills that we still need to teach. So it's okay sometimes if you pick up the old paper and make them look at it and turn the page. Sometimes it's like, we're gonna look through this newspaper. Let's see what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, right? You know, it's archaic, you know, whatever. I don't care what it is, but you're gonna have that experience. It's all about exposure, right? You know, a lot of children are not exposed to certain things, even though we had to do that. That is the difference between you know, the children when we were growing up and the children today. You know, responsibility. They understand what responsibility. We understood what consequence meant. You know, we understood that. They don't understand what consequences are right now. They may know what the word is, but in nothing. Even if they say it, there's no consequence. They say it's a consequence. It's really not a consequence.
It's not a consequence.
Right. So these little things, those little skills, tiny skills that we learn, we came out okay. We may have grown up in that, but we came out. Yeah. You know, we
come out okay.
We came out all right. You know, those little things, that little stuff that, you know, was instilled in us. We came out and we still have that. So, you know, I'll be quick to say Generation X all day. You know? Yeah. We were very.
That's right.
Right. You know, we were very rebellious. Right. But you know, we were rebellious, but in that rebellion, that not caring, because we weren't going to do it, you know, through our clothing, through whatever it was, we still had that inch of understanding that, you know, who our elders were, who we were supposed to respect, who we wouldn't do, when to shut your mouth. These kids don't know when to shut
when to stay in the child's place.
That's it. When to stay, okay, close your mouth now. Okay, just you don't have to have something to say every time I say something. Just close your mouth. Okay. So those little things, those are deep skills that we, you know, it's like a lost breed. You are talking about typing. Typing is everything. Listen, sometimes you gotta have that feeling, and you know, when the corrector tape didn't get that little, you know, dang, I gotta do this over again. You know, they don't have that. You know, all you do is press backspace, and you know, that little stuff.
They don't even know what whiteout is. Whiteout.
White it out.
Or they know too much about white it out. My kids knew about white out. They just white out everything. I was so tired of whiting out. I'm like, don't you white out another thing. Cross it out. Okay, just cross it out and write on the top of it. Don't you white anything out, because you know you need to see that you make mistakes. Everything has to be so perfect. It's not going to be that way in life.
You're right. Exactly. You're totally right. You're totally right.
I told them that, you know, minute they took it out, I threw the white out. I don't care. Tell your mother, cup, let them know I did it. It's just the way things are instilled in our children now. Some of these habits, you have to break the habit. And not everything we learned when we were going on, but we know we turned out all right. So if you just tell them there's another way to doing things, that there's more work, that instant gratification that our children need to have, like instantly, I need to be, okay, so did I do okay? All right, just keep going. You did it. Go ahead on and keep going.
Take your time while doing it too.
They gotta learn how to fall.
And take your time and do it.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to fall. You gotta learn what a mistake is, and you have to learn from the mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't know. Chris thought it was hilarious when something fell on the floor. I was like, back in my day, you'd be like, God make dirt and dirt don't hurt. He was like, oh my God, that is hilarious. I'm just like, what? You kiss it up to God back in the day. But now you got Rona and
all that. Yeah.
Got no more.
Everything.
You have social media. Social media is the death of these children because we didn't have social media.
I know.
We got away with a lot of stuff, but
we got away with
social media.
Yeah.
Yes.
Social media.
So you got to remember, a lot of things took place. Not that we didn't do anything. It's just
right. It just is no record of it.
Do you have video of it?
Yeah, exactly.
if you don't got no video, it didn't happen.
And there ain't no video of it, so well,
not happen. Oh well. God make dirt and dirt don't hurt.
My son still eats off the floor.
Well, he's a baby.
And yes, he's a baby.
He's a baby. I'm like, don't eat that. Too late. I'm like, all right.
And you live to tell about it.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
Tell about it. We done took all of the good bacteria off our hands, doing all of the washing and the antibacterial. Back in the day, we just used a bar of soap.
Oh,
that was it. That's all we used.
It was a bar of soap. And we wasn't sickly. We had that good immune system. We had that good, strong immune system.
Listen, just look at the playgrounds we had. That slide
wasn't
that slide like steel? It was
the swing set.
We ain't had nothing on the floor. If you fell from there,
you get a concussion from the swing set and from the monkey bars. I got my head stuck in that monkey bar in that playground in 399. I don't know how many times. That just stuff was wrought iron.
That was that hard.
They didn't have none of that padding down.
That cushion.
We had so many scars that didn't make no sense.
We did. Now they got the mat, the soft mat that if you fall on the mat. We was falling on concrete.
Yes.
Okay.
And what your mama said? Didn't I tell you don't get up there high? Here, go wash it off. Go back to sleep.
Let me wash it off. I get clunk on my head.
All right, you
go
all
back outside and play. Go ahead, go run it off.
All right, now go back outside.
Go back out and play.
Red light, green light.
I was just talking about the mentality of the testing. Well, it's a lot of things, like Kim said, if you just do what you have to do. I tell my students, especially my 7th graders, I said, if you are on point this year, you are in like Flynn when it comes to high school. So, I'm just thinking about the way we were done when we had to take state exams. The simple thing after the state exam, I don't know if you all they did it. They sent us home.
Yeah.
Those little whose mind is working after a state exam?
Right.
You just think about it when you take a 4-hour exam. What are you doing? What exactly are you learning?
It's not like that now.
So no, absolutely not. We are glorified, and it will be school is open till all kind of nights. So we are there, and you have to and they expect you to teach or do something. But what child is learning after
4 hours?
Those tests, and now it's done. There's no limit. That's another thing. That's just me. I still believe that the test should be timed in certain aspects, but that's just me. But now they have all day to take the test, and all day to sit there, and their brain is gonna go everywhere. But they fight for certain things, and I'm not a testing person. I don't think a child should test, but if you're gonna do it, there's certain ways you have to be logical with these things,
right?
And all you have to at least see what the children know.
Right.
There are always other ways that you can look at their children's learning. You can see it through all other perspectives. But however, if you're going to do it, nobody want to sit there and take a test from 8 in the morning to 3.
Right.
Nope.
But
I would
torture.
They have that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you can do. That's what it is now. However, those little things that we left after taking the exam, to get your brain back. We're coming back again tomorrow because no one is learning after a test. Right. So how are we teaching our children? All children can learn. Let's just put it that way. Every child can learn.
Right.
How are we getting through to the children? How are we really teaching these children, which is, besides all the, the standards and everything we have to get in and see how the child is manipulating, but how are we getting to the child? So there's some things that they're putting into play now. There's always a new criteria. There's always somebody new who has found this new situation and they feel that this is going to work, whatever it is. And they're 9 times out of 10, they're never educators. So these people that come up with these plans to teach the children, they're never educators. They came up with this epiphany that this is going to work this year. Okay, no problem.
And never consulted an educator.
No. But but the idea is that we have to go or look at a perspective of how children learn. How are we going to teach them? What do we teach them starting with? And that life skills that we have taken out of the school, just learning little things, how to turn a corner, learning more than one way to go home, because if you know street smarts, you don't go the same way
every day. Yeah.
Those little things that, it's taken out of the school because we're so cut and dry in certain aspects, and not everything, because if you're a real educator, you're going to get it in. So, but those little things that we have to start, those starting points, remember, you have to remember, we were children and we were able to stay children when we were right. Our children now have a whole lot to deal with. Like that's a whole nother, their home is a whole nother different base. So now you want me to learn you want me to learn something on top of what I'm going through at home? Do you understand what I'm going through right now?
What I'm going through.
Everything that they see on social media.
Yeah, everything. So just knowing the starting point of the day, and an educator understanding that your lesson, you may have done a great lesson last night, but your lesson may not go as planned the day you come in that classroom. It may be a totally different thing you have to teach that day. And you just have to let your administrators know, listen, it didn't go that way today because this is the way that I got a hold of my children in the classroom today. So
sometimes it's a counseling session.
Yeah, listen.
It's like, okay, everybody's looking at you. You got this lesson up there. You like, they are not going to hear nothing I'm saying right now. It was just a shootout the other day. Somebody's brother was, it's just like, okay, so what we gonna talk about today? And it may not be, it's a learning day, but it may not be from Danielson. It may not be Danielson. It may be something that they really needed because they wasn't focused on it anyway.
At all.
And we have had some days like that in our school. We've had some days where the principal was like, you know what? We're gonna have an assembly. We're gonna talk about this.
Mm-hmm. And we have days like that in our personal lives. So who's to think that is not going to happen with kids?
True.
I mean, thank God that our first lady is an educator. Hopefully she has something to do with,
we hope
how we go forward with education. Shout out to our AKA
ideas.
And the VP slot, Miss Harris, who thought we was going to see a Black woman?
You're right. You're right about that.
So I mean, we're going so far, but it seems like there's a lot of places where we're actually going backwards.
Same way.
So we need to make everything, go forward,
Definitely.
especially with us. And I think we could take the foundation. I love what Shemika says, the groundation that we have, and move that forward, move the channel forward. And I think discussions like this are necessary for us to really
definitely
changes in our communities and get that ball rolling. Because it's like some people don't even think about it. They just you're so busy living, you forget to live. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with this discussion, I mean, I have so much things going through my head about, okay, we do this, just trying to think of how we can, make changes within our communities for the better. Because we can't expect Joe Schmo from Long Island and Strong Island to come out and change things for us. We got to change it for ourselves.
Exactly.
That being said, what's the takeaways? Who wants to go first? What's your takeaway?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's the takeaway? What's the takeaway from all of this is it's just like you said, going back to our groundation and remember how we started, what was instilled in us. Now, I should say, how can we bring that forward to our communities? And just like I said, discussions like this. Now, there's 4 of us on here. Next time we meet again, we probably can expand to 5, 6. Slowly get the ball rolling and see what we can do. Do we want to do a community service? Do we want to, we have educators there in the field. Shanah says she's with the going with the reform.
Criminal justice reform.
So, we can start in many different areas. If there's 4 of us, I'm sure, next one will be more than 4.
Well, he meant y'all 4 and me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He didn't include me.
All the 4 of us on here.
I got it.
It's 4 of us on here, so we can definitely expand it. Make a change.
This platform started to change, just to see Chaya and Shanah, because I remember them running around with me when I was in school, but just to see you all, and how you've grown in your platforms and boisterous, and this is a platform for change. So you've already, we started the first level. It's up to us to say, well, we're going to pinpoint it here, or maybe we can bring people on that can or that has ideas, or just have an informal conversation about how we can get this community level started again from all different areas. Because I'm still in Brooklyn, I'm still in Crown Heights, the same way up the block from where I grew up. So I think that stability also, that you come back to your community and they see the face that is so prominent, right, that this person did what they did and they're coming back, or they're doing this. It's disheartening to hear, when a school is not the same or doesn't have the same caliber, but you also got to know that things change. So that's when we come into play, where we have to make our own, situations, where we have to pull the elders and say, listen, can you be of assistance to us in this realm, where they can, just listen or give us some, hints on how to start certain things. So, this platform is a good start. And I'm proud of you girls. I want that T-shirt.
I got you.
I'm looking at it. So tell me where I got to get that T-shirt from.
Yeah.
And just seeing you all, because Miss Kennedy she was a really prominent person in my life, and I'm so thankful for her. The village is real strong. I'm not trying to cry, but you understand how the village is. I could see it, or I could see Miss Reed in the street, and they'll stop and they'll just hold me. And that is a big deal. And then maybe they saw that I needed that hug, whatever it is. But, just having those people, I'm so fortunate. And I see it in my daughter, she has that village too. That village is a continuation, because I just feel that people who attended that school, and all this, but we attended that school and we're very protected.
Yeah.
In all aspects, whatever it is, because you're just known in that. I never thought that I was going to see Miss Brinson again. You remember Miss Brinson?
Yes.
Okay. So Miss Brinson, I didn't think her husband worked in the same school building as I worked. So when I went outside one day, I was like, he said, my wife. I turned around, she looked the same too.
Yes,
not even putting two and two together. His last name is Brinson, and I'm putting that shit looking. I'm like, I moved him aside. I said, Miss Brinson, and she knew exactly who I was. She knew from no. She said Shemika, and I said, I mean, it just took me all the way back to 399 and a time of education where you were so like engrossed in it. It was like a powerful moment. Yeah. So yes, this is this is it. Try to get some more, of our 399ers who are doing their thing, and let's start it. The platform is already started, so it just has to continue.
But I feel like this was really a good beginning, and I do feel that maybe we could bring some more, even if they weren't from 399, because I have like a friend who is also an educator who also shares the same thoughts, feelings about where we're going and what may help our kids. To come on too, to maybe get some ideas going on, because I really do believe that our kids can be reached, but we have to be the ones we got to throw it on them. We got to make them do. We got to show them there's a different way. And I would love to start you guys coming to my school if you can, like obviously after this pandemic is over, because my principal would be like for it, like to come talk to our kids, to just show them that we are from here too, and we did certain things and we did it, and there's no reason why you can't do it too. So I think this would be like wonderful for some of our kids to just be a part of something bigger than them, or knowing that, okay, this person looks like me and they did it, so I can make it out also. So I would love to try to get some partnerships going on with my school and other schools to just for our kids, because if we don't, like you said, if we don't do it, who else is gonna do it? They're not gonna do it. We gotta do it for our kids.
Yep.
Everybody didn't get 399. Everybody wasn't fortunate.
Not just our own personal kids. We gotta fight for our kids.
Right.
All of them.
Right about that.
True. Well, I think for me, yes, I agree with everything, but to flip it, I think for me, we don't have to see each other for 5 years, 10 years, but the minute we see each other, it's family. Like we never stop speaking. Like we saw each other the other day. So I'm thankful, of course, for my blood family, but I'm also thankful for my 399 family. And I know that no matter where we are, that we can call, text, send a DM, and they'll be there. So I just wanted to say that.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. They was there for my baby showers. Everybody showed up. It's always love. So I definitely, I'm glad that we started. Like Shemika said, we already started the first step, and we're going to continue.
Here with him.
Hi, Keelan. Yeah, but we're going to continue, and I think this was a great conversation. So I just want to say thank you to my guest Shemika, Kim Keelan, and her entire family in the background. Lamar.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And Shanah. And we got to do this again. We definitely got to do it
again. Anytime.
Yeah, I had a ball, and I am revived and rejuvenated. Like I want to go out. If it wasn't Rona, I would go out. I want
your house, you and your children and your family.
And so I can't go nowhere. So I'm gonna just turn on something, some music, maybe some Grover Washington.
There you go.
Junior or something. You know.
Some blue
magic. I just want to end it with saying that they are my older sisters. I'm younger.
Really?
I just want to add that, people.
I remember y'all used to come back, during after school, help us with homework, teach us the dance moves and all that stuff. I'm grateful for y'all.
Grateful for y'all.
Yes.
Grateful.
Very easy. It's quite okay.
Over here with my nephew sometimes, so that's another conversation. But anyway, to Shemika, Shanah, Kim, Lamar, I am Chaya, and this is a Maven's Tale. Till next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Good night, y'all.